This will be a complete summary of the story and lore behind the game Iron Lung by David Szymanski. So first, let's talk about the strange universe in which the story of Iron Lung takes place. So the first thing we see when we start the game is this piece of text on the screen. Decades ago, every known star and habitable planet vanished, leaving only those who were on space stations or starships. This event became known as the Quiet Rapture. With supplies dwindling and infrastructure crumbling, survivors are searching for any trace of natural resources in a universe of barren moons, lit by the ghost light of vanished stars. One such moon holds a strange anomaly, an ocean of blood. You are a convict, tasked with exploring this anomaly in a makeshift submarine nicknamed the Iron Lung. It was not designed for this depth, so you will be welded inside, and the forward window will be closed. There was no time for training. If successful, you earn your freedom. So what's happening here? Well, in this universe, every single habitable planet and star somehow just spawned out of existence. And the surviving humans, who are desperate for resources, have found a moon with an ocean made of actual human blood, into which they have sent a convict to explore the place. And we are playing the game as this convict. So with that being said, let's see what happens to our convict. So this right here is the convict, or us, being dropped into the blood ocean. And as you can see here, the sub is now at the ocean floor at maximum depth. And now let's take a look at the mission briefing that's given to us. 2 weeks ago, we conducted an exploration of Moon 85 for the first time since the Quiet Rapture, leading to the discovery of a fourth blood ocean. A trench beneath the ocean surface has several points of interest. Your task is to photograph these points of interest with the SM-13's forward camera. So SM-13 is the Iron Lung, or the sub we're inside of. Photos must be taken within 2 units of the specified position and 10 degrees of the specified angle. You can also use the camera to help with navigation. Only photos taken on specified points of interest will be saved. Since you can't navigate by sight, pay attention to your coordinates and consult the map. The proximity indicators next to the sub's controls will trigger if you're getting close to an obstacle. Good luck. So we are exploring Moon 80-5 on our SM-13 sub. Keep that in mind for later. So this is the map, and what we need to do now is to navigate the sub to these coordinates and take pictures of what we see there. That's it, then we can go back up and enjoy our freedom. So in front of us is the controls to the sub. This is where we control the XY coordinates, and this is where we control the angle of the sub. So these controls are what we use to get to all these locations on this map. Also, right here in the back of the sub is where we take the pictures, like so. But there are 2 other things of note close to our camera. The first one would be this note, which says, "This is not an expedition, it's an execution." When they put you in here, they don't want you to return. And even if you do, and even if they keep their promises, what freedom awaits for you? A few dying ships in a sea of dead stars? If there is still hope, it lies beyond the veil. Hope in this void is as illusionary as the starlight. I will choose to breathe my last here, at the bottom of an ocean, unseen, unheard, and uncontrolled. They will get their execution. I will get my freedom. So this note is probably what our convict here wrote down himself, given how the sub he's in, the Iron Lung, is designed to be of single use. Or maybe it was someone else who went down in the Iron Lung hoping to die, but didn't. Anyways, the other item of interest over here would be this computer. If we were to interact with it, we'll be met with this screen. And this is where we will get the most lore about what exactly is going on in this game and the universe it is set in. But we'll get to that later. First, let's check out all these coordinates and see what we can find there. So this is the map of where we're exploring, and these are the photos we will find at each of these coordinates. We see what looks like some kind of under-blood buildings at 2 locations. We see bones, skeletons of some large fish, an actual fish that seems to be following our sub, these things, and the most unique item in here would be this, which is described to be some kind of a portal. Apparently, after taking the photo of this portal, we'll be teleported to where we took the previous photo, or to the last point of interest we were at. The portal is definitely up to some strange things in here. So these are all the photos we need to take to complete the game. Well, not all of them, but we'll get to that later. Also, apart from these 10 photos, more can be taken, and of these, 2 are noteworthy. This one, by the way, cannot be seen within the game, but when the sub is near the structure, this sound can be heard. Anyways, now let's talk about these 2 pictures. So when the submarine approaches this area of the map, the proximity indicators will start going crazy, and if at this point we were to take a photo, this is what we will see, a giant eye, belonging to this fish probably, which might be following us. And after taking this photograph of the eye, our submarine gets bumped, quite possibly by the fish, which causes the submarine to become flooded with the blood outside. We do see more of this fish in the game, but that happens towards the ending of the game. But before we get to the ending, let's talk about this photograph of the SM-8. So to talk about the SM-8, we need to talk about this computer from earlier. If we were to look up SM-8 on this thing, this is what we get. Hopefully they don't redact this before updating the database. So quick side note, everything in this computer, as mentioned here, is stored locally. It's not connected to any form of the internet. Anyways, continuing where we left off, what most people don't understand is that not all subs are built equal. The SM-8 isn't a burner sub. It really is for exploring and surveying blood oceans. If they send you down in the iron lung, they don't give a f if you come back, or if the sub comes back, because it's a pile of garbage, and you're a piece of shit. You come back with photos? Great. You sit down there and suffocate quietly? Even better. But if they send the SM-8 down, one of the scientists is piloting, and they all expect them to return. And now the SM-8 is in the blood ocean in pieces. No, not hit a rock pieces or sprung a leak pieces. It looks like something tore it up. And the weirdest thing is that nobody else seems surprised. We might have found the first planetary life since the Rapture, and they're acting like it's no big deal. I know you're next in line for realization in the iron lung, and usually that means you won't be seeing the stars again, but they don't have a SM-8 anymore. They have 3 burner subs, and a lot of curiosity about AT5, and maybe that means you have a chance. So this whole thing seems like something someone who was not happy with the way the ocean is being explored put into the database of our sub's computer. According to them, the iron lung, or SM-13, the sub we're in, is garbage, and no one sent down in this thing is expected to return. SM-8, however, was built much better, and as we can see, something has destroyed even that. This person then goes on to say that we might survive because with the SM-8 destroyed, the COI, which is the organization sending people down here, might put more effort into bringing us back. We'll see about that. Now, if we were to look up our sub, the SM-13 on this computer, we get this. One of 4 in-service underwater crafts fashioned by the COI for use in conviction realization in the blood oceans. It is designed for deep liquid photography and analysis. Then a section has been redacted, following which we get this. All rumors of SM-13 and similar crafts being used for so-called mob justice by way of forced suffocation or otherwise have been proven false. That's reassuring. So this message is in contradiction to what we saw in the beginning of the game, because it says the sub is designed for deep liquid photography, and in the beginning of the game we were told that the iron lung was not designed for this depth. So make of that whatever you will. Also, something else of note here, it's in the following sentence. One of 4 in-service underwater crafts fashioned by the COI for use in conviction realization. So what's conviction realization mean? Well, as per our computer, this is what it means. A humane form of criminal justice used by the COI where crimes are repaid by rendering services to the general collective, which is quite possibly another name for the COI. Often this is by performing surveys, maintenance, or other similarly beneficial tasks. And then something has been redacted. My guess is this redacted section was on how sometimes people tend to lose their lives when subjected to conviction realization. There are a few more messages that are known that the computer will give us, and I will now go over them, starting with the quiet rapture itself. In 357 EIC, without any prior warning, radio contact with our respective planets was suddenly cut. Nobody can recall having visual contact with any planets when the incident occurred, or experiencing any other unusual phenomena. So it's uncertain what exactly might have happened. Upon investigation, it was observed independently by several stations that, where there had previously been planets, nothing remained. Further investigations over the following months revealed that all known planets with sentient life, flora and fauna, a habitable atmosphere, or any form of natural resources were likewise gone, along with all the known stars. The only celestial bodies that have been found since are either uninhabitable moons or asteroids. Many theories have been proposed for this disaster, including religious interpretations of it as a literal rapture, some unknown quantum anomaly, or something more cosmic and sinister. There are no concrete answers yet. Maybe there was no quiet rapture. Or maybe the simulation they were in ran out of storage space or something. What do you think? Also, this kind of reminds me of the movie Pandorum from 2009. And next, let's see what EIC means. Epoch of Interplanetary Colonization, or EIC, is an interstellar calendar standardization adopted with the establishment of the first off-Earth colony on Mars in 1992 AD, or 0 EIC. It was and is the predominant calendar used throughout the known galaxy, although before the Quiet Rapture, many debated switching over to a more standardized measurement of years. IMC, or Interstellar Martian Calendar, was especially popular owing to a large population residing on Mars. After the Quiet Rapture, all stations and Starship Alliances still use EIC, aside from Eden, which is another station which uses IMC. And as for how IMC works, known commonly as IMC, the Interstellar Martian Calendar is an alternative to the more widely used EIC. It was poised to be officially adopted by Mars before the Quiet Rapture. Whereas EIC is based on the rotation of Earth, IMC is based on the rotation of Mars, meaning that 1 year in IMC is about 1.88 years in EIC. Currently only Eden, a former Martian space station, uses IMC. Anyways, next up, blood ocean, an unexplained phenomenon that has been identified on 4 separate moons since the Quiet Rapture. Moon 85 and Moon Z8 are the most notable locations as they are under the control of the COI. Enough research has been conducted on the blood itself to determine that it is indeed human blood. But we have not discovered where it comes from or how it keeps its liquid form. The ocean at 85 is of particular interest because redacted. So this redaction is probably because of the portal or the fish, or probably both. Maybe the fish came out of the portal. And if we were to look up 85, the moon we are exploring, this is what we find. Redacted. This entry has been redacted. See Blood Oceans for more information. So not a lot of luck there. But what about Moon Z8? The site of one of 4 known blood oceans, and one of 2 such moons under the control of the COI. Then there is a redacted section followed by Moon Z8 has historically been used for the realization of COI convictions until the discovery of Moon 85. And what is this COI we've been hearing about? Well, the Consolidation of Iron, or COI, is a brotherhood of 3 space stations and 2 spacecrafts, found on the principle of collectivism and ruled by popular vote of all citizens, numbering 257 at the time of this entry. Its name comes from the iron and steel materials its 2 main stations are constructed from, and the principle of unity and togetherness in the face of menace from other surrounding stations, such as Eden. And what is the deal with Eden Station? Well, Space Station Eden is the largest man-made structure that still exists in the wake of the Quiet Rapture. It was formerly the main station for Mars, and the populace still maintain a strong sense of Martian patriotism and independence, making them a constant threat to the sanctity and security of the COI. It has a current population of 468 and has the only known remaining trees in its interior garden. That must be a nice sight. The COI considers Eden a threat to all collective well-being after their attack on Filament Station. And looking at Filament Station, we get this. Filament Station was the 4th and largest space station in the COI until 362 EIC, when tensions between COI and Eden erupted in a 9-day battle on the station. The battle ended when Eden troops resorted to sabotaging the station's reactor, resulting in a critical breach. The next part has been redacted. The breach left Filament Station uninhabitable due to the high levels of radiation, and it has sat empty since. Prisoners taken during the conflict have been undergoing conviction realization in the years since, with the final ones expected to repay their debts and integrate into the COI society by 381 EIC. So the player character, the convict, could be undergoing conviction realization due to the attack on Filament Station. But do note that in this database, we only get the COI side of the story. Eden might have an entirely different side of the story to tell. Anyways, if we were to look up Mars, we get this. The 4th planet from the Sun, and the site of the first off-Earth colony in 1992 AD, or 0 EIC. Mars was the most populated planet in the solar system before the Quiet Rapture, surpassing Earth in 14C EIC, so 143 years after initial colonization. Now all that remains of Mars's former glory is the Eden space station. So that is all the main lore info that we can get from this computer. And finally, if we were to look up certain terms relating to discoveries made on Moon AT-5, we will get this message, which says nothing other than redacted. So basically, everything discovered on 85 has been kept a mystery. So before we get to the ending of the game, to summarize, in the aftermath of the Quiet Rapture, which led to the disappearance of all known stars and habitable planets, humanity survives on space stations and starships. The Consolidation of Iron, or COI, which is a collective operating on principles of democracy and unity, and Eden, a faction maintaining Martian patriotism and independence, stand as prominent survivors. The rivalry between these factions culminated in Eden's attack on the filament station, a key asset of the COI, resulting in its destruction and leaving it uninhabitable due to severe radiation. Following this conflict, prisoners captured by the COI were subjected to conviction realization, a system where individuals repay their crimes through services such as exploring some mysterious blood ocean on some moon. And our player character, the convict, is one such individual undergoing conviction realization, possibly having something to do with the attack of Eden on filament station. And now, finally, by the end of the game, after having taken 9 of the 10 photographs, and with the submarine now flooding with blood and catching fire several times, which we can quell with the use of this fire extinguisher, by the way. Anyways, after all of that, after any 9 photos are taken and we're heading towards the 10th photo, the fish creature, which was most likely following us, destroys the sub and the convict, and the COI gets their execution. But that is not the end. After the convict is killed, we get this message. The expedition, which our convict went on, ultimately raised more questions than answers. Satellite images showed pieces of the SM-13, the Iron Lung, scattered all over the bottom of the trench, as though it had been torn apart by some huge beast. The wreckage cannot be reached at this time. No photographs, the ones we took, have been recovered. The stars shine pale as bones. The moon is a lifeless corpse, its ocean a gaping wound. The universe, what's left of it, is dying. But somewhere in the void, there must be hope. So that was the story of Iron Lung by David Szymanski. For the full experience, I recommend playing the game if you haven't already. Anyways, that is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a good rest of the day or night or evening.